This is Nekunyan Catgal Vanguard, and today I'm making my deck profile video. Okay, let's get to it. So for our grade 0 lineup, we have our starter unit, Forerunner, second skill, put this unit to your soul. If your Vanguard is Legion, soul charge 3 cards, choose one of your Vanguards, and that unit gets +5 till the end of the turn. Gallia Prayers, Pray Angel. This deck is a Legion deck, so it combos very well with it. For our next grade 0s, we have 4 copies, the heal triggers, of Regalia of Compassion Air? Someone tell me how to say that right, I can't say it. Next, we have 4 copies of Regalia of Farsight Clear Angel. 4 copies of Battle Maiden Kukurihime. Her skill is put this unit to your soul, choose up to one of your Genesis, and that unit gets +3. So I don't recommend calling her to the rear guard. Personally, I keep her in my hand to guard. Next, we have 2 copies of Lemon Witch Lemoncino, 2 copies of Fancy Monkey. Draw triggers are optional in this deck. You don't have to put it. Personally, I don't recommend putting it because of all the soul charging you do in this deck. But that's all for our grade 0s. For our grade 1s, we have 3 copies of Apple Witch Cider. Her skill is when this unit is placed on the G-Zone, not G-Zone like Stride G-Zone. G-Zone is a Guardian circle. From your hand, choose your Vanguard with Regalia in its card name, and until the end of that battle, that unit gets auto. When your Genesis Guardian is put into the drop zone, put that card into your soul. Just to clarify, if you have a quintet wall and this card shows up as one of the 5 cards, you cannot put the 5 cards into the soul. If it's called from your hand to the G-Zone, then you can use your skill. Because it's really confusing when it comes to that. Next, we have 4 copies of Witch of Frogs Melissa. Skill is counterblast 1 card when this card is put into the drop zone. From your soul, if you have a Genesis Vanguard, you may pay the cost and call this card to the rear guard. It's good because of the grade 4 that I have that does lots of soul blasting. Next, we have 4 copies of Witch of Catskilman. It's the when this card is placed on the rear guard or Vanguard circle, soul charge 1. Okay. Listen, I only have 1 perfect guard. I go with what I have, okay? Cards are expensive. So, she's the perfect guard. Discard a card from your hand. Nullifies the attack. Next, I have 3 quintet walls. That's the grade 1 lineup. Next, for our grade 2s, I have 1 copy of Battle Maiden Sahohime. Skill is counterblast 1, Vanguard or rear guard. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, and if you have a Genesis Vanguard, you may pay the cost and soul charge 3. I use her when I desperately need soul charging. That's why there's only 1. Next, I have 2 copies of Regalia of Fate Norn. Skill is when this card is put into the drop zone from the soul, and you have a Regalia Vanguard, it gets +5 to one of your units, or your Vanguard even. Next, I have 2 copies of Witch of Raven's Chamomile. Same thing for Witch of Frogs Melissa. This card is Soul Blasted, Counterblast, back on the field. Next, we have 2 of the 12k attackers for Regalia. Goddess of Trees Jupiter. Very pretty. And lastly, for our grade 2s, we have... trying to hide it. La la. 4 copies of Regalia of Beauty Venus. Sia Yggdrasil is not actually the main card in this deck. It's actually Regalia of Love Cypress, because I rarely use Sia Yggdrasil, because it is so hard to get 6 cards in the soul without decking out immediately. And for grade 3s, Sia Yggdrasil, Cosmic Regalia, Sia Yggdrasil. Whatever. It legions with Regalia of Fate Norn. Her skill is soul blast 6 cards. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if this unit is Legion, you may pay the cost. If you do, this unit gets +1 critical. and your opponent cannot call grade 1 or greater units from their hand to use them. So they're like, oh, you just gave it 1 critical, huh? I'll nullify. Nope, no nullify for you. Next we have 2 copies of Regalia of Wisdom Angelica. Personally, I like having Break Rides in a Legion deck because of power, and Angelica's skill is good because Limit Break 4, Soul Blast 3, Raven and Chamomile's and Melissa's skill. When a Genesis rides this unit, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw 2 cards, and Break Ride skill. Her second skill is, when this unit attacks, Soul Charge a card, gets +1. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. And next we have the main card. 4 copies of Regalia of Love Cypress. She's the 25k attacker if your Vanguard is Legion. So I only have 7 grade 3s here because I find grade 1s and grade 2s more important, and I don't stride too much. So yeah. For our grade 4s, we have 1 copy of... Yes, I only have 3 grade 4s. I do with what I have. 1 copy of Rain Elemental Madu, Cray Elemental. Skill is when the student's placed on the Vanguard circle, like if you have, I don't know, Seal Yggdrasil in the drop zone, put it back in your hand, everybody's happy. But it only works if your Vanguard is 10k. Like if it's 11k, no work. The skill no work. Then we have 2 copies of Great Angel Do Embrace. Skill is Soul Blast 3 cards. Choose up to 2 of your rear guards and they get +5. And if the number of cards in your soul is 2 or less, Soul Charge 3. So, by the way, it says act, and then it says once a turn. You can only do this once a turn, okay? Don't be like me where I made a mistake and I used like 6 times in 1 turn. Oh, I decked out that time. Good times. Okay, for my next video, I'm gonna show you my combos because this video's gotten too long. So, this is my Genesis deck profile. Thank you for watching. This is my first video, so I'm happy if I get 1 like. Okay, thank you, and bye.